A third night of riots in Ballymena in County Antrim, and there's been trouble in Larne, a town 20 miles away. A leisure centre was attacked there. Mark Devenport is a journalist in Northern Ireland and was political editor there for many years. He joins us on the line now. Good morning.
Good morning, Kate.
What is the latest overnight?
Well, we've yet to get any kind of statistics about how many injuries happened or how many plastic baton rounds were fired by the police. But certainly we know that there was significant trouble there last night. As you say, the epicenter of this continues to be Ballymena. This is the town where an alleged sexual assault took place, and two boys have already appeared in court speaking through a Romanian interpreter. And that seemed to be the spark for this racist rioting that's been going on. Last night in Ballymena, there were further clashes between rioters and the police, and we know that the water cannon was used, the baton rounds were fired, and that the police at some stages pushed back crowds using police dogs. So it was pretty nasty. But as you say, we then had this other incident about half an hour's drive away in Larne, which is one of the main ports for ferries going across from Northern Ireland to Scotland. That's also a strongly unionist and loyalist town. And the rumour went around the town that some of the families that have been targeted in Ballymena have been temporarily given shelter in Larne's leisure centre. And around tea time last night, disgracefully, a crowd of young masked men started attacking the leisure centre and set the reception area on fire, and some quite serious damage was caused there.
And were there families sheltering inside that leisure centre at the time, or have there ever been?
It looks like there were at least a couple of families who were brought the night before to have shelter in the leisure centre. Now, by the time the attack on the leisure centre took place, the word is that they were long gone, that they'd been moved on to somewhere safer. But there were people, local people, in the leisure centre at classes there when suddenly bricks and rocks started coming through the windows. And so people were put under threat, not the supposed targets of this attack. So it looks like it was used temporarily for shelter, but by the time the crowd started causing damage to the leisure centre, the people they were trying to get at have been long gone.
And what's really going on here? Is this genuinely being driven by, well, it's been called racism by police bosses there. Is that what is driving this? Is this a different thing at the heart of it? Because it sounds like the community itself now is being attacked.
Well, certainly, I think the trigger was this alleged sexual assault, and there's absolutely no question about it that this appeared to have been an extremely troubling and nasty incident. And there's also no question about it that Northern Ireland has a problem in terms of violence against women and girls, which is very significant here. But we've had no sign of this rioting, for instance, when local men have been accused of perpetrating violence against women and girls in the past. And it looks like in a similar kind of pattern, I suppose, to what we saw in Southport, what was a legitimate cause of anger and concern amongst some in the local community has been used by others, if you like, for a trigger for effectively racism against the very small ethnic minority community that we have here in Northern Ireland. On a percentage basis, it's nothing like the ethnic community in terms of its size that we see elsewhere in the UK. A lot of these people do vital work, whether it's in manufacturing or the health service, and now they're finding themselves targeted. And you've got this very upsetting scenes of people feeling that they have to put up signs on their windows saying what nationality they are or declaring that they're British or whatever, which is all extremely concerning.
And what's the plan here to resolve it? Because it sounds like this is going to continue. It sounds like those tensions are at boiling point. We know what the police have been doing, but is there a community response to this?
Well, politicians have been telling those involved in the violence to call this off and to end what they're doing. There have been some differences in responses. This has been mainly in unionist areas, and there have been some unionist politicians who combined their condemnation of violence with talking about what they say is legitimate concerns about migration. On the side of nationalist politicians and those in the middle, the Alliance Party, which is the cross-community party here, there's been in turn I think a bit of criticism of some of those unionists for effectively giving succor to what's going on in terms of racism. So there has been that kind of difference there. In terms of the security front, the PSNI, the police force here, have called on forces across the UK, I think particularly Police Scotland, to provide them with some kind of backup. We're expecting some Scottish officers with riot training to come across in the coming days, if they're not on the way already, in order to provide some much needed backup to the PSNI officers who are now getting quite tired after 3 nights of riot duty on the streets.
Mark, thanks so much for that update. Really great to get your insight there.
Thank you.
That is Mark Devenport, a journalist in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, we've just seen the pictures, and they're in some of the newspapers and the websites this morning. British flags saying a British person lives here, but also I'm a Filipino lives here, trying to say that I'm a good type of immigrant, not a bad type of immigrant. That's really extraordinary for a place where there's not that much migration totally.
But I suppose that's why you are starting to see it. You know, if you are in a place where it's quite unusual, then the tension will be greater than in areas where there isn't as much. But really good to get an update there from Mark.
Some pressure in that. As of this afternoon, 6 individuals have now been arrested for public order offences. 1 has been charged. All video and online footage is currently being reviewed, and I assure you that prosecutions will undoubtedly come. A significant policing operation will be in place in Ballymena and beyond over the coming days. We're taking steps to increase available resources and are surging a significant number of extra officers, vehicles and equipment to those areas where the rioting is taking place. This will have an impact on our communities. This will take away vital resources needed to police other areas. It will have an impact on our ability to serve communities. During the course of the disorder in Ballymena, after warnings were issued, authorised officers discharged 13 attenuating energy projectiles, and a water cannon was deployed in an attempt to disperse the crowds. For the second day, the focus of this mob violence has been upon our diverse communities and the police. This has no place in any right-thinking and civilised society. This violence only serves to undermine the criminal investigation and cause further distress and turmoil to a young victim and her family. This violence threatens to derail the very pursuit of justice it claims to challenge. Our investigations into the criminals behind this disorder is ongoing, and we're resolute in our determination to bring those perpetrators to justice. As part of my forward planning, therefore, I have now activated the request for mutual aid resources from policing colleagues in Great Britain to ensure we have the necessary support to maintain public order and bring offenders to justice in the days to come. I'm appealing for calm over the coming days and again urge anyone considering becoming involved in violence and disorder to think long and hard, to think about the repercussions for themselves and their community. And to those who may wish to protest and have their voice heard this evening or indeed in the days ahead, please do so peacefully and lawfully. Okay. Thank you all very much indeed.
Okay, everybody, I would love to